And that is all coming up a little bit later. But before that, in more than 100 days of war, the devastation inflicted on Ukraine's people has come in many horrifying forms. Communities destroyed, thousands of people killed, and some who have survived the Russian bombardment have done so at a terrible cost. Right across the country, there are civilians who've lost limbs and whose lives will simply never be the same. They face not just the physical consequences of their injuries, but also the terrible mental impact. Lucy Watson met some Ukrainians facing that battle.
Far away from the front line is the cruelty and the raw testimony of war. In hospital corridors, haunted by the horrors inflicted on the innocent.
I'll never be the same person again. I am sadder, less active, and I look at the world with different eyes.
Maxim Zabihailo was hit by missiles in Donetsk when he went out to get food and water for his parents. His leg was torn off by shrapnel, his arm broken.
The first sound I heard was like thunder. I got blown into the air, thrown to the ground, and I could see my leg had gone. My arm was pouring with blood, and I was just screaming for help.
Maxim no longer has nightmares. He doesn't have dreams anymore either.
Financially, we have nothing. No house. Our home is destroyed. I'm a refugee in my own country.
His mother, Elena, rarely leaves his bedside.
As a mother, it's so hard, so painful to see your child lying helpless, and you can't help him. I want him to get back on his feet and have a life. He's my pride and joy, my only child.
Elena wants her son to have a prosthetic limb, but doesn't know where to start.
Nobody can promise us anything. That's what scares me. Once we leave the hospital, that's it.
No comfort is enough. It is real, tangible help these patients need. This is just one hospital in one town in Ukraine, but numerous patients have had amputations here. Some have had several limbs removed. This is, of course, happening to soldiers, but also to many civilians. And for them, getting rehabilitation is much more difficult. Mental health support in Ukraine is a relatively new treatment. Right now, it's in short supply for those struggling.
They used to be able to walk, to have a full life, then this happens. They often think it's the end of their life. Much more support is needed when they leave hospital and get home.
Vita Yatsenko has performed 10 amputations in this hospital in recent weeks.
I know doctors shouldn't feel sorry for the patients, but I feel so sad for them. Soldiers and civilians. It's hard for me not to feel hatred towards Russia.
Ukrainians have had to get very good very quickly in the art of prosthetics, out of necessity. The government does fund healthcare in this country, but this is an industry being forced to expand.
The number of amputees has increased dramatically. We have doubled the number of inquiries.
Some of the military, already fitted with artificial limbs, have renewed purpose that often helps them cope.
When soldiers lose legs, they come here. They say to us, "Make me a prosthetic quickly. I want to get back to the front line."
But for those who fear conflict, managing a new normal is much more difficult.
War is frightening. Nobody wants it. I still can't comprehend what is happening and why.
Alexei was trying to escape Irpin, a town near Kyiv, when mortars hit. He lost his right arm.
I did think I might die on my journey. Now I know what it is like to come close.
Alexei is right-handed. He will need to teach himself how to write again.
It's important that I accept what has happened to me. I don't think of myself as a strong person, but I am trying not to let it stop me from living my life.
In a war that terrifies ordinary people, the cost of conflict is high, and the injustice of this invasion weighs heavy. Lucy Watson, ITV News, Cherkasy, Ukraine.